Shalom from Karen Biavna. The story is told of a certain Israeli diplomat that wasn't particularly familiar with what goes on in shul, that felt that it would be proper protocol for him to visit the local synagogue. So he comes into shul, and at Kriyas HaTorah, the Gabbai offers him an aliyah. He asks him, Ech korim lecha? The response, Ephraim. Ben, the Gabbai asks, Ben arba'im v'shtayim. The Gabbai persists and says, no, ha'aba. And the fellow responds, oh, ha'aba ben shivim u'shmona. We chuckle when we hear that story based on the dual meaning of the word ben in Lashon HaKodesh. We speak of a person being ben of his father, but we also speak of a person being ben ex shanim. In effect, we could say, from a slightly different perspective, that a person gives birth to his children, but a person also gives birth to himself. The actions that he does, the learning that takes place during his years, produces a new individual, produces a different individual. This dual understanding of toladot, or of the word ben, is the key to being able to understand a famous midrash Tanchuma at the beginning of the parsha. On the pasuk Eila Toldos Noach, there's a lengthy discussion in the midrash about the importance, about the holiness of learning Torah in general, particularly Torah Shebaal Peh. It speaks there of the fact that the unique relationship which exists between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the Jewish people is based largely on Torah Shebaal Peh. After all, the Umos Ha'olam see the Torah Shebechsav as belonging to them as well. It speaks there of the fact that learning Torah is associated with Ahavas Hashem. It speaks there of the fact that although the Jewish people said Na'aseh v'nishma, but nevertheless, we also have the concept of Kaf Aleim Har Kegigis, that the Jewish people in a certain sense were forced to accept the Torah, which the Midrash understands is associated, that Kaf Aleim Har Kegigis is associated with the Torah Shebaal Peh. But in any case, the question arises, what does all this midrash about learning Torah, what's it got to do with the beginning of the parsha? So it's been suggested that the midrash is addressing a certain difficulty with the pasuk. The pasuk says, Eile Toldos Noach, but then continues, Noach each tzaddik, tamay miyad b'darasav, and only the next pasuk does it mention Noach's children. So the midrash seems to suggest that the way we could understand the pasuk is the following: Eile Toldos Noach, Noach. The first child that Noach had, so to speak, was Noach himself. Noach gave birth to himself. Noach created himself. And how did that take place? By Noach being an Ish Tzaddik, by Noach being involved in a Torah study, by Noach being involved in his relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. May we all be zocheh to many toladot, but let's also see to it that we're able to create ourselves, that we're able to develop our full potential and be the best possible Jews that we can be. Have a wonderful Shabbos.